Okay, so Frankenstein. We all have this image, right? The monster, the lab, maybe some lightning.
The neck bolts.
Exactly, the neck bolts. But if you actually, peel back those layers, the story Mary Shelley wrote, wow, it's been sparking conversations for, over 200 years now.
It really has, and not just as a horror story. It goes so much deeper.
That's what we're doing today on the Deep Dive. We're taking this absolute masterpiece and trying to unpack why it still hits so hard. Why this clash between Victor Frankenstein and, his creation. Why does it still feel so relevant?
Yeah, forget the Halloween costume version for a minute.
Ah.
At its core, you've got this story about ambition just soaring off the charts.
Uh-huh.
And then the sheer weight of responsibility that comes with creation. Plus, that terrible feeling of being totally on the outside.
So we'll be looking at what drove Victor and then the journey of the creature himself, trying to get at those big questions the book just keeps throwing at us. All right, let's start with Victor. Let's try and get inside his head a bit. He wasn't just messing around in a lab because he was bored.
No, definitely not.
The source material really points to this this potent mix of things driving him. Huge ambition, sure, but also this deep grief, trying to deal with loss.
And that phrase they use, a dangerous curiosity, he's sort of wrestling with death itself. Driven by that pain, yeah, but also a massive belief in his own genius, you could say.
Oh, absolutely. Ego plays a huge part. He sees himself as this pioneer who can bend the rules of nature.
Right. And what's so striking is how he seems almost totally blind to the consequences, or maybe just unwilling to see them. The source makes this really key point. Creating something isn't just the aha moment.
Yeah.
It comes with this lifelong duty, to care for what you've made.
And Victor just misses that entirely.
It seems like it. He's completely focused on the act, the breakthrough. Why do you think that is? Why ignore such a fundamental part of it?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Maybe he's just so wrapped up in the science, the godlike act of creation itself, that the messy business of caring afterwards feels unimportant. Below him, almost.
Could be.
And then, boom, the creature opens its eyes, takes a breath, and Victor is instantly filled with, what? Disgust, horror.
Yeah, revulsion is the word that comes to mind.
This wasn't the beautiful creation he'd picture. The source really emphasizes that immediate gut reaction. He just turns and runs, abandons him.
Instantly. Can you even imagine being born into that? Your very first sight is your creator recoiling in horror.
It's just brutal to be brought into the world and the first reaction you get is fear. Loathing from the one person who should care.
And from that point on, his whole existence is defined by being alone. Utterly isolated. He's thrown into a world that just shrinks away from him.
But here's the thing. The source material is clear. This creature isn't born evil. Not at all.
No, he has this innate desire for connection.
He watches people. He learns language. He sees kindness, love, belonging. And he wants it so badly. It's actually heartbreaking to read about him trying to reach out.
And failing. Every single time.
Met with screams, with stones, with violence, again and again. What does that say? That something seen as monstrous has this deep down yearning for good.
Well, what's really telling is how that constant rejection changes him. The source stresses this point. Eventually, he just stops trying.
Wow.
Think about that. It's such a powerful statement on prejudice, isn't it? How fear and hatred can just crush that fundamental human need for connection.
It really does. And it forces you, as the reader, to ask that question the source poses. Who is the real monster here? Is it the being who desperately wanted connection and was met with nothing but cruelty? Or the creator who brought him into existence and then just walked away?
It completely flips the usual monster narrative, doesn't it?
Totally. And the story becomes this mirror, like the source says. It reflects our own stuff back at us.
How so?
Well, think about it. We all create things. Maybe not living beings, but relationships, projects, our online selves even.
Okay, yeah.
And when those things get difficult or they don't turn out how we planned, maybe we're tempted to just back off.
Yeah.
To abandon our responsibility.
That's a sharp point. Victor's huge failure isn't some cartoon villain thing. It's like a magnified version of a very human weakness.
And the creature then becomes the symbol for everyone who's ever felt left out. Right.
Absolutely. The unheard, the unloved, the judged, anyone who's ever felt like they just don't belong. Why do you think that theme of being the other resonates so strongly, even now?
Maybe because it's such a universal fear, the fear of being rejected, misunderstood. And with science and tech moving so fast today, Frankenstein feels, almost prophetic.
Right. The source brings this up too. It asks that critical question. What happens when our power to create gets way ahead of our thinking about the ethics?
And then science forgets the human cost. It feels like a question we need to be asking ourselves constantly now.
Yeah. Which brings us right to that philosophical core. What actually makes us human? Is it just our biology? Where we came from?
Or is it something deeper, like the ability to feel, to love, to suffer, to hope?
And the source makes a really compelling case that the creature, despite his stitched-together origins, he's arguably more emotionally alive than Victor.
Definitely. He longs for love. He finds beauty in nature. He dreams of just having peace. It really messes with your assumptions about humanity.
It draws that sharp line between what someone looks like on the outside and what's going on inside. The creature feels deeply. He even shows empathy, which is more than you can say for Victor's cold ambition.
Right. It hammers home that idea from the source. Everyone we meet is fighting an invisible battle.
And judging without understanding, that's just cruelty.
And that loneliness, it's everywhere in the book. It's not just physical isolation, though there's plenty of that.
No, it's what the source calls existential loneliness. That profound feeling of having no place, zero belonging.
That deep sadness the creature carries, it comes from that absolute lack of connection, doesn't it?
It does. And ultimately, woven through all this tragedy, the source concludes there's this incredibly strong message about responsibility.
Not just for the things we literally make.
No, but responsibility to each other, to every person, no matter what they look like or where they came from.
So yeah, next time Frankenstein comes up, maybe think beyond the monster movie tropes.
It's so much more. It's a deeply human story.
Absolutely. It makes us face up to the dangers of ambition when it's unchecked, the vital importance of taking responsibility, and just how crucial empathy is, especially towards those who seem different.
It really pushes us to think about those invisible struggles people around us might be facing, and how our own actions, even small ones, affect whether people feel like they belong, like they matter.
It's an invitation, really, to think about our own responsibilities in our relationships, our work, even how we act online, the creations we put out into the world.
And the care they deserve, the consideration. It's a lot to chew on.
It really is. A story from 200 years ago, still asking the hard questions.
Where we came from.
Or is it something deeper, like the ability to feel, to love, to suffer, to hope?
And the source makes a really compelling case that the creature, despite his stitched-together origins, he's arguably more emotionally alive than Victor.
Definitely. He longs for love. He finds beauty in nature. He dreams of just having peace. It really messes with your assumptions about humanity.
It draws that sharp line between what someone looks like on the outside and what's going on inside. The creature feels deeply. He even shows empathy,